And we are live. So, Thursday training for the Perfectly Posh Power Team. And today we have Margeaux doing a training on sourcing vendors and being able to find some good connections for local events. So I'm just going to turn it straight over to Margeaux, and then after she shares a little bit, there will be some Q&A time, and we can all unmute and chat at that point. So I'm going to go ahead and put Margeaux on as the presenter and have fun.
Okay. So I actually got most of this from when I did origami. So my offline taught us about this. So I'm going to start. There's 18 different ways to source these vendor events, and I will share this in the team files when I'm done. And obviously, the first most obvious one is that most people don't really think about is Craigslist. Now, the nice thing about Craigslist is that you don't really have to pay a fee to post an ad or for an S amount of days, and that's good for people who don't have that kind of money to post an advertisement like in papers or whatnot. And yes, you can find a lot of things on Craigslist. So you should go to your specific region, and then there should be a tab on Craigslist that says events or community, and then you can actually pick and choose on Craigslist with the specific time frame that you want. And in each advertisement, money would indicate if they're accepting vendors still or not. So that's something I like, especially when you're in a greater regional area and you have, like, say I'm in Buffalo, so we have Elmwood Avenue, so we have a lot of art festivals, and then we have the Southtown area, which we have a lot more smaller area, regional things, so we have a ton of local businesses compared to chains, and they do rely a lot on Craigslist. This one I don't think will apply till next year because summer's almost over, but we have the community, county, and state fairs. We just finished our fairs last week, so I don't know where it is for the rest of the country, but they always have, like I would say about a month or two in advance, they announce that they're looking for vendor booths in the building hubs areas for the fairs. And you don't have to have your samples and product, but you can always do like mostly for business region connection. Hi, Justine. So what you can do is most fairs have a website that you can contact for information about getting a booth there, and sometimes it may cost some money, but for the amount of traffic that you get at the fair, to say like I'm in Buffalo, so we have the Erie County Fair, the second largest fair in the country, so we do get a lot of heavy traffic, and that's something that I don't know how it is regionally, but if you're comfortable with doing the fair, I would. Um, And then the community events, they have, farmers markets. I believe one of our teammates is doing that weekly. That's always a good opportunity because we have a lot of people that like to get fresh produce, and our products are naturally based, so they like to find more information about how to get more natural product, and just goes hand in hand. And get a lot of vegans that go to the farmers market. Uh, And we have, for the farmers markets, we have they also usually are hosted by the Chamber of Commerce in your local community. So if they usually have a website to go to, like, you can go to like your town, so it'll be like your town.gov sometimes, and they will have a list of events that go on. And what I like about that is that they have a contact information of your chairperson of the town, or the sponsors for each event. Um, this one is coming up for you guys, a Christmas bazaars. With the Christmas bazaar, I've been to a couple. They usually start around end of October, early November, and they usually have to snatch up really quickly because, and usually in my area, we usually have to snatch them up 6 to 7 months in advance to get to these events. So like with these, you have at least one of each vendor at the Christmas bazaar, and it's basically like an open jam. And you can look at Craigslist for this, or you can talk to schools or churches because they usually tend to run those events. So if you have kids or you're an active member in your church, you could ask your head of the church or school and they can tell you. And I like this because even if you're not affiliated with the particular school district, they still allow you to be flexible. Mm. So with the Christmas bazaars, they have like the Easter one, St. Patrick's Day. I've seen some fall and wine bazaars. They have a couple of them coming up around here, but they usually have like a lot. But you have to be careful because some of these bazaars, they'll either only take, just local crafters, or they'll take both. It's something you want to ask them directly first before you put the money down to pay for your spot for the event. Another one, this is not something that's really frequent, but like marathons, 5Ks, spotting races, Tough Mudders, they have like a vendor expo sometimes depending on the run, and you get a lot of heavy traffic when you watch marathons, so it's a great exposure opportunity. And even if you're running into yourself instead of doing a vendor booth, you can always wear your team shirt just because people will be watching you. You have photographers taking pictures at the marathon. You got people running with you. They're gonna see your shirt. They're gonna, if you're slow like me, you're gonna probably read the behind of your shirt too. So I do like the idea of this, and especially it's found all year long, so it's a really good opportunity, mostly for branding and exposure. Plus, you can always market like the Soothe Your Soul and the heebie-jeebie to the runners. And then, the water, the people that get the water when running can give them hand cream samples. Um, if you guys still read the newspaper, I hope you guys do. The newspaper in the classifieds every Sunday, they usually have a page that is dedicated just to garage sales and community events. But not if you think about outside the box of your general regional newspapers, like the town paper, like your local penny saver, those are always a good opportunity to just put an ad in there and that you're doing a vendor event, or if you're just wanting to put an ad with your website on, they're pretty relatively cheap. This, I, coming from experience, college and community career fairs, while I work at ECC, I mean, we do have college nights and we do have career days and we have a ton of like chain career places, and then we have a couple of local places, but I think it's a good exposure because you have like college students or just students coming out of high school that want to look for an opportunity for a job, and then some of them don't really want to work like retail, and they don't want to go to school, but they just want to make a little bit of extra money for the summer. I definitely would recommend this for team building because you can always get leads, and even if you don't get team member leads, you can still get customers and or referrals. But I would check if you type in your like colleges in your area, and then usually under, I think it's Campus Life, they will have information about the career events and college fairs, and you have to contact the person in charge of that directly to get more information. Usually they're pretty open about it. Well, at least the community colleges are. Uh, for those of you that are a little bit more bold, you can do news channels websites, because a lot of the local news stations have the websites that includes all the local events and happenings, and then you can always check if they have a vendor or exhibit event booth. But given the opportunity, some of you could actually possibly, have like a live advertisement on the air if you wanted. I know like sometimes with the weather, they do like a sponsored for the weather live, and then I know with the rescue we actually had some dogs on live as well. So you can always try and market the past if you're bold enough to do it in front of 1 million people. Um, Battle shows. Battle shows are a hit and miss because technically brides tend to go there, and I speak from experience, they just want the free stuff. They want the free stuff, but it's still a good opportunity to do like sample packets and maybe like do some drawing, get some customer base. Plus, you know, it's a hit and miss. I mean, if you get like the big ones where there's over 4,000 people, I wouldn't do it. But if it's a smaller one where it's more geared towards local people, then I would do it. But yeah, sometimes the battle show can get a little trashy about that. Yeah. Um, we all know about the Facebook broadcasting and speaking out, but every now and then, there's groups that have like local yard sales on Facebook, and people do post their vendor events, and then there's a couple pages where it's like, say for example, what's the New York vendor events page or like arts and crafts page, and I wouldn't discount just the arts and crafts page because the people cross post vendors and the events in there as well, and I've actually found quite a few vendor events under the craft fairs because even though they're listed mostly under crafts, you can still kind of market past it. I don't want to say handmade, but it's made in the United States, so you can kind of argue with that. But you can actually just generally advertise on those pages as well. They usually have one of them has a pinned post where you can just post your link right in the comments. Trailer and mobile home parks. Apparently, you can source vendor events at trailer parks. Apparently the big area for vendor shows and craft fairs usually, like if passes under $25, you're gonna find people that are more willing to buy because they're always looking for like an under price, and then obviously the lip balms, the hand creams, and something all easily under $10 price, and you can have a really good cash and carry there. But if you want to do your research for that, you would type in mobile home craft fair, and you might have to dig a little bit depending on your location. I mean, I'm in Buffalo. I have like mobile home parks, what, 3 blocks away from me. But if you're like in a higher income area, you might have to reach out a little bit more. I did mention this one before. Most of them have a PTA or a booster club that's always looking to raise some money for events and activities. So like, I believe Tanya might have talked about this with the fundraising, but you can always do it like the fundraising sheet they have in the portal, I believe, like how you can do it picks a few and then you can order it and then you can do it that way, or you can do like they order and you can donate a certain amount of your commission in a basket. I'm sure they like to have a basket for like their giant holiday fairs as well. But speaking of the vendors and craft fairs, they're usually on the holidays. I find them about mid-November. They have them, and you will have to contact the school to get the head of the PTA or the booster clubs or whoever's managing the fundraising events. It's definitely much easier than doing a car wash, and it's pretty straightforward, so they will be more open to doing those fundraisers instead. And it's also a good way of getting in with, if you have kids going to that school, you get to meet the other parents from the school, and then you also get to meet the students and then potentially new teammates. and definitely a lot of new customers. Churches, like I mentioned earlier, the churches they're always looking for money to support the church. So, I mean, it could be like a craft fair or a cook-off or an outreach program. You would contact them the same way you would do for a school. Yeah, Jenna, it's tricky because some are pretty more open and some are not. But you definitely do have to ask. I mean, sometimes even they'll say like right underneath and the little subtext that says no direct sales or just crafts only. And it's important to read the fine print on there. But usually I find that the churches are a little bit more friendlier than the schools about the vendor events, just because they usually tend to have like a bazaar inside the church or the school area of the church. I've actually done one or two, and they were actually very funny, and the food was good. um, this one malls, like those little tiny booth stands in the mall. Yeah, Jana, you cover 10 for each chunk in hand cream. I would cover tasks. Usually, personally, I don't charge the tasks. I eat the cost myself because I'm really bad at math. But I mean, you could do the $10 each, but I mean, also you can also just have them order directly and as a bulk order and just have them cover their end and you cover shipping. And it's really up to you how you want to do it. I just don't like covering tax on their orders, so I just eat it. Um, what was I saying? Okay, back to the malls. I don't know if you guys know this, but when Origami Owl was first founded, he actually started off doing it from house to house, and then she actually moved to a little mall kiosk booth. Those little things are in between stores and everything. And they actually have a ton of them up in the holidays, which is good. If you have a ton of cash and carry, that'll be really good. And if you don't, it's always good to like have your flyers or samples set up, where you can even do like those, like those makeup counters. They tend to do that too. You can do like a little sample counter. Um, Usually you can find the information in center court, or malls usually have like a little information booth center that you can get the information from there. But check the website for the mall to get the contact and check what else they have scheduled for the events as well. This one you don't really get very often. I just did one 2 months ago. Nonprofit organizations. So you got like the YMCA, the Rotary, Lions Club, etc. They always try to raise funds and awareness for their causes, and you have to really find local ones. Usually I found mine through word of mouth through the rescue. The last one I just did was a Paw Peck bash, was the 5th birthday anniversary bash, and it's just geared towards dog runs. And there was many different events. We had 31, we had the pass, and you can always, usually with these, you have to pay, like most of them, you have to pay a table fee, and then they usually ask for a gift basket of your choosing within a certain price range. Usually they're about $20 to $25. And what I like to do for those baskets is I just prefer to write out a gift certificate, because that forces them to use it with you. Make sure you write that it's only redeemable with you. It forces them to actually go shop with you and contact you as the actual Posh person. I touched base on the rescue, but there's also the Humane Societies and the SPCA. They always are looking for support. I did a fundraiser with Buffalo Cares back in February and raised $525 for them. They usually have events such as like Bark in the Park or Rise and Walk or Bark for Life. So they raise awareness towards canine cancer or just shelter work and all that. And they operate the vendor booths, much like a Christmas bazaar, but usually they're outside, and you have to bring your own tent and your own table for that. Another one that if you guys have college students on your team, or you work at a college, or you live near college, sororities and fraternities are always looking for a philanthropy event every semester, and then having a direct sales fundraiser pass, you can offer to have them earn a percentage of the retail sales. And it's a quick and easy way for them to raise money without having to put in too much effort. But it also gets you in that college phase of students where you are looking for new customers. Potentially you'll get some teammates because they'll see how affordable the product is. And then those in the sororities and fraternity can see how much income you're making on it and how much is being donated, and they can get interested in the opportunity themselves. If you want to look into that, you go on the college website and check Greek Life, and usually they have a contact person right on the front page of that. There are fair websites, so fairsandfestivals.net and myfairsandfestivals.com, the two big ones to check out, and those are mostly they specialize in events. And if you can't find an event, you can make your own. So if you don't have to do it at your house. You can actually rent a space out at a local restaurant and make your own little event. They can have like a posh open house, and you can just also invite, like if you have a few friends locally that are in different businesses as well, you can make your own. So you can offer a home-based business and artisans event, and if you offer snacks and beverages, each vendor should do a buy-in to the event or be prepared to offer a raffle prize. And they suggest to advertise the event and all the list that you prepared told you guys about. And the nice thing about the events is, those who attend them are looking to connect with people with similar interests. So whoever you come up with might be a direct salesperson in another company, or they might be, with Posh and you want to check out I don't want to say competition, but they want to see who we have in the area. I know I do. I go to other vendor events and I see who else sells Posh around here. But definitely, if you do make your own event, make sure that you can split the cost with other people that you're going to have to do as well. And especially because sometimes the room rental will go like a little bit high, like range from 100 to 300, depending on where you're going. And especially with the traffic, so you definitely want to just advertise no matter what. But it's up to you, because you have to decide what vendor event you want to do, what you're most comfortable with. But you have to hunt for them yourself. They're not going to come to you. You gotta hunt for them for yourself. Like people, like you have a party, you have to hunt for hostesses. They're not always going to come to you. But it's really helpful to have friends in different areas, like different schools, different rescues, other direct sales, and then make really good connections with them, because that way they're going to let you know when they're doing the event, and they will let you know if your pass isn't already filled up in that event. And it's always a good way because once you build a relationship with them and then you get in the event, you can get more relationships with other vendors, and then potentially eventually down the road maybe do a local business partnership. You advertise them and they advertise you, and that's always a good thing, because then we're still branching out no matter what. That's all I really got. I will definitely share this in the files in the link for this, but I will definitely post more as I find out with different links for it, because I'm still looking. I'm always looking. It's just you just have to remember, if you want to look for an event for like March or April, I would start looking now, because if you're in an area where it's saturated a little bit with past, like we have, I think, 49 consultants here, but there's one up like an hour away from me that keeps national the events down here. So it's definitely something you have to really plan ahead, but always be prepared for opportunities right away, where like someone drops out of it and then could pop in and do it. I don't know. Does anyone have any questions? Um, I did find this vendor event page. I don't know if you guys are in this group. It's called the Socialite Suite. It's over on Facebook, but they have this vendor events, if I had the best success with. Um, and this, with the Socialite Suite, you have to specifically request to join in yourself. They will not accept anyone that adds people to it, because they're more like they want you to want to be there and learn. And the girl that actually runs this is my Origami Hour upline. That's where I got the information from. That's where I used a lot of what I just talked about. If I was looking for the Origami Hour, I've actually, the vendor events I've had the best success with so far. Well, I've only had one vendor event with Posh. I've had, I think, 3 or 4 with Origami. I definitely, with the past one that I did have pretty good success, because I made friends with the girl that was at a local 31 Bears event, and now we're good friends, so we be back on events off each other right now, so it's been cool. But I do recommend, if you do an event at like a park or a Park for Life, now you put a sign up there that says that the products are for humans, because I have so many people ask me if these were for dogs. There's so many. But with the origami one, I think the best one I had was at the holiday bazaar. But you definitely want to have a lot of cash and carry for that one. I do not recommend health and wellness expos that are not very properly advertised for an origami hour event. Maybe Pass would work better in there, but it was like you gotta make sure when you're looking at the vendor events that look at how well they're advertised. Are they showing? Are they being advertised on little flyers that are staked in the ground in front of the event? How far ahead are they advertising it? Are they advertising it on social media? Are they advertising it on print media? That's something you really want to know. Like, 'cause that'll give you a good indicator of how heavy the traffic might be, and then you want a good time frame as well. But I almost was going to do. There was a festival. It was like a dance marathon festival downtown. It was 3 8-hour days. And you have to be prepared for something like that. If you have enough product for it, if you're gonna have the patience to sit for 8 hours for 3 days straight, if you have the money to fork over, because they're asking, I think, $75 a day or something for it. And then you also have to factor in if it's inside or outside of it, what the weather's gonna be. Is there gonna be food provided, or you're gonna be able to have someone sit with you at the table so you can step aside and take a break, to use the bathroom, to eat or whatever. I generally typically feel that the vendor events that are, I want to say 3 to 5 hours max, are the best, because people are not dragging. So, I did a vendor that health and wellness expo. I paid $100 for the table. We had like maybe less than 100 people. And the raffle basket actually went to someone they knew instead of do like a random drawing. And they didn't advertise it very well, so that was on me. But it was like over 6 hours, and it's just I had no sales. I had no customers, no nothing. It was just really tricky. But there's another one that I was right, definitely. The shorter ones are better. Um, I there was one 2 day vendor event that I did. It was like a women's retreat, or mostly like a women's empowerment retreat. But it was tricky because there was only like 7 of us vendors, and it was mostly like it was in the same room as the fact they were doing their lecturing and like the little learning engagements. So it was really tricky to do that. So you want to make sure that you're doing right, definitely. I mean, if you're down south in your hot weather, you you want to keep it cooler. Like I know 31 has that nice market thermostat, makes it cooler. I'm in Buffalo, so you tend to get a stuff frozen. I like the indoor events better too, but sometimes they're not air conditioning, so that's something you want to ask them ahead of time. You definitely want to ask if there's air conditioning. Usually, if you go to events, they'll tell you if food's provided. Usually, hopefully. Um, what I usually will request at vendor events, especially like the indoor ones, is they're not the first booth by the door because I did that with they put me by the door with origami for one, and people just kept walking past it, like to get into the main gym area to see the ones that are like more in the center in the middle. So I definitely recommend not being put right by the door if possible, like in the entry and exit ways. Because I just have people passing me, just non-stop passing me. And it's just like, they're like, oh, you're here. I'm not going to acknowledge you, but I know you're there. That's just how it was. Yeah, the inside corners or like right in the middle. So like if you're like in a gym and it's kind of like a donut and you have the outside rim and then you have like that little inner rim, I tend to notice that people will stick towards the inner rim more than the outside rim. Um, but also, yeah, yeah, it's really hard, John. Yeah, I didn't get any contact. Yes, the bathroom is really bad. Do not be next to the bathroom. But it might work with Posh because sometimes bathrooms smell up and you're like, here's a hand cream, it'll smell better. So you can always like have a chunk basket appropriate too. Right. So you get on the right too, but try and make sure if you get an event that you're not next to like Sunset or Pretty Light, because then they're gonna have the candles going and then the smell kind of interfere with the smell of the product. But definitely, I feel like if you're like in the middle of the best. Yes. And Pasha and Julie and 31 complement each other really well. So I was like right across from the 31 vendor at the car park. And it worked out really well because I had a rescue on one side of me and then a rescue across from me. And then I had chain table next to me. So it worked out really well. Like you gotta have a balance of where you're at. So like if you have instead of having like all your beauty and pampering products in one section, you wanna have it like spread out so it's more open. So you have but if you're not to a 31 vendor, that means they buy a bag, they can put the bash in the bag, and then they overspend. So try to definitely get next to a bag vendor. I think that's all I got. I don't know. Does anyone else have any other questions? Mm. Okay. I think we're good.
Thank you, Margot. That was awesome. There was a lot of really good information.
I will post the link for the I'll post that in the team group. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think here locally in Tucson, we have um, a lot of local events, and I don't do a ton of them just because of medical reasons. I don't have the stamina to set up and hang out all day and then tear down and come home. It takes a lot out of me. So I usually pass those on to other local posh people here in Tucson. But um, I have found really that in addition to, some of the online things or I loved like your recommendation to look at like the Penny Saver, like your local news publications to see what we have here in your local area. That's really smart. I think it narrows down the search a lot. I would also I liked how you said news stations. We also have radio stations that publish.
I don't listen to the radio.
Right. Well, that makes sense. I was gonna say I have found some really good ones from K-Love, which is actually a Christian radio station that broadcasts all over the country.
Okay.
But on theirs, they have a community events page on klove.com. Yeah, Jenna, it's a very big Christian radio station, and so they have a lot of community plug-in. And those vendor events tend to be lower cost. They tend to be more indoor events, and they tend to be very focused on women and families. And so it hits our target pretty well, the events
Okay.
that they share on their pages. So I would recommend that also for sourcing events. And really any of your big mega churches in your city. You can go to their website or call their office and see if they're aware or if they're holding any events, because a lot of the big mega churches also do a lot of community events where you can get a good vendor spot for a reasonable price too. And those are people that are planning on buying stuff. They're not showing up like a bridal expo or a baby fair or things where they're really just wanting to check out and see who's there and get some free stuff.
Right.
So that's just a couple of other things I was thinking. And then like local business, did you mention Chamber of Commerce earlier? I think you did. And any kind of local small business networking groups. And your Chamber of Commerce is a good place to start because they also have other resource links to other networking groups. And so you can even just do a quick Facebook search for your city business networking or your city small business.
I do it regional, but ours would consider Western New York. So we cover Western New York, Chautauqua County, Cattaraugus, Rochester. So we cover like that left half of New York State.
Yeah, and so that's the other thing too. Don't just put in your city. Put in your region. Put in things that like you're known for. Like Phoenix and Tucson, it's like the valley. So I could look up Arizona Valley business resources or business opportunities or vendor events or community events. So when you're doing searches, don't just limit yourself to your city name. You can also do your region or landmarks or things like that to open up a broader search.
Or if you want like a tighter area, like I'm in the village of Lakeville. Like literally, our village is 1 mile wide. We have a market. It's like every Wednesday morning in the summer. It goes from like 9 o'clock in the morning to 1 in the afternoon, and it's different. It's county too. Depends how big your county is too. So you gotta be careful. Sometimes it could be like an hour drive. But
that's another good point because the only way that you would get me to drive an hour for a vendor event is if it was an amazing vendor event that I was guaranteed a ton of business. So when you're doing a search, you want to be looking at, where it's located. You want to be asking their event coordinator who their target demographic is. I was talking with someone else about that this week who just did a vendor event, and it was down at a not a retirement community necessarily, but it's geared towards retirement aged people with lots of
Okay.
money. And so it was like a wealthy old people demographic. And so maybe your setup at that vendor event would be very different than if you were doing an event for like young families, um, or like at a school or whatever. So you also want to be thinking like, how are you going to be setting up? Yeah, rustic setup. Yeah, so like if you're doing at a farmer's market, you might want to use like milk crates and kind of set it up like a farmer's market setup with baskets and things like that, where like with a focus on our ingredients being fresh and naturally based and things like that. If you're doing like a wealthy retirement home, you would want that vendor setup to maybe be more high end and avoid,
And
like the sparkles and glitter and polka dots, and maybe just lean more towards the black and gold and pink and really
and
dress it up nicely.
but I want to mention, like, especially I tend to notice this with the older folks and the wealthier folks that you like buy one get one free. They like really like. I'm sorry, my dogs. They really gear towards like they like that free product. They're gonna spend more to get that free product, no matter how much it is, especially because they have money to just go out the window. So
It's really true. It's really true. So with and that's a good point, because the things that you do and offer at each event should be catered to the audience that's there. And so like when you're doing at a school or like a baby fair, something where there's small children, having your display be appealing to kids or a younger audience is actually smart too, because then you're going to attract the kids to your booth, which brings their parents with them to your booth. So
and that's what they're
everything.
gonna grab. So you want it to be very simple, very clean, nothing that's gonna explode all over the place.
Exactly, because you're going to have kids coming up to your table. You don't want to have a million lip balms out on the table that they can knock over and mess up.
Just
So
open up.
yeah, so you have to be really thinking about it. And I like that we talked a little bit about the placement of our booths, and where that is. You also want to keep in mind, like if you want to have lights, or if you want to have like a tablet that's playing a rotating slideshow of some of our favorite products or things that you like or whatever. You want to make sure that your booth has electricity, or at least that there are outlets nearby where you could charge and plug in your devices. So it's just little things like that that you want to be sure you're asking the event coordinators, just so that you can plan ahead and know what you should bring with you.
Right. I know I definitely invest in some power banks for your phones, especially when you're using card readers, because especially you're not gonna always get the Wi-Fi, or the Wi-Fi is gonna be choppy. You wanna really have that. 'Cause I was at a Louisville event. It was in a winery, and they're in the back of the winery, and they're like, the phone's in the air, and they're trying to swipe, and they're not getting a single, and then the phone batteries are dying. But also what I used with an origami event was at Christmas time, they have like those little battery powered string lights, and mine had like a setting of flashing, blinking, or like a little loop with the lights. And I tend to find that the simple white lights will help them to your table, because you're like, oh look, it's like grabs their attention really quick. Especially with lights. I mean, as a deaf person, I gear towards the lights. Like, you see something flashing, I go right to it.
That's actually a super great tip for displays. If you can get, maybe if you don't have the battery strands, which are not expensive, you can buy them pretty
They're
cheap.
like $8 at CVS.
Yeah, exactly, and you can buy them anywhere. And so it's a great visual thing to add, and it seems so simple, but it totally dresses up your whole display. Plus, if you are outside, and it gets dark early wherever you are, it helps to draw people to your booth, because you're lighted. You have light, people can still see your products, they can still see our packaging. So that little bit of light makes a huge difference. You can also get the little candles that are battery operated to set on your
Yeah.
table, just to make it look pretty, dress up your table a little bit. We
Cap
should do
lights.
a, huh?
Cap lights.
Yes,
Cap lights. So if you want like read over the catalogs too as well.
exactly. It makes it so they can check out the catalog, they can check out your print materials, they can still see the products. So lights, it's a little thing, but whether you're indoors or outdoors, get some kind of lighting to dress up your table and your booth a little bit.
Yeah. I like that. What's my origami? Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. So does anyone have any questions about sourcing vendor events? Margeaux gave us a bunch of great ideas. So we have Craigslist, we have local papers, we have news stations, we have radio stations, we have Chamber of Commerce, we have other online venues, Facebook groups.
Funds. We have funds.
Yes. Yeah, malls. Yeah. Contacting schools, any kind of local organizations that are out in the community.
I have a question though.
Yeah.
How do we feel about I see these on Facebook, they're like online multimedia vendor events, you know, like they're like a little it's like an online bazaar. How do we approach those? I noticed they don't tend to do super well, but I'm just wondering like what the experience has been with those. I see them, but like I don't know if they work as well.
So multi-vendor Facebook parties, basically, they call them like a bazaar or a vendor event online. I have not seen them be super successful, and really it's kind of hard to do them online if you have an exclusive spot. So if you are the only vendor for Posh, then it might be something to consider. However, unlike a physical vendor event, they don't have the benefit, the customers don't have the benefit of walking up and down an aisle and seeing you and getting to talk to you and touch your products and see things. And it's a lot harder to share Posh in that kind of a setting just because you don't have their undivided attention. Like a Facebook party is hard enough because you already have to work twice as hard to try to make a connection with the people, even in your VIP group or whatever, in an event or a party you're doing. And I feel like a multi-vendor event just multiplies that by 100 because now you've also got other people posting all about their stuff too. So I don't feel like it would be a super effective thing to do, but I mean, we're allowed to, as long as we're the only Posh consultants posting in there, we're allowed to, and we can offer sales and deals and stuff. I just don't know that I would put my time and effort into that myself.
I was just wondering because it seems like it's getting more popularity, but I don't actually see them succeeding very well. So I was just wondering.
Yeah, I think it's something that's easy to do. I think it's something that is convenient for people to be able to do it online instead of having to go to a vendor event. But I don't see it getting a lot of foot traffic from customers. I see it really being like a lot of other direct sales people in there, and not so much actual new customer acquisition. So from a networking standpoint, I could see how it might be beneficial. But from a customer acquisition standpoint, I don't see it being super successful. But
Makes sense.
yeah. All right. So the challenge then, I guess, this week is to reach out, do at least one of those things. Margot's going to post a link of ideas, and then contact one of those. Go do one of those and see what kind of events are going on in your community over the next couple months, and post. Yeah, post below this video like a list of 3 to 5 events coming up in your town in the next month, and see if any of them are worth giving a call about and seeing if you can get in on a vendor event. Because I think even if you're not getting a ton of sales from them, vendor events can be really, really good for making connections in the community and marketing and getting your name and your face out in the community as the Posh person. So even if it doesn't generate instant sales, I think that the exposure is usually totally worth it. And if you're doing good follow-up with the contacts that you make at vendor events, you're going to come out profitable, as long as you're not spending $500 a booth. If you're sticking to the $20 to $100 booths, you should be able to stay profitable on that.
And I do recommend is my past event I wore the hot pink polka dot skirt for the event, so they're like, oh, you're the Posh girl, right? Yeah, what's up? So like literally bright and obnoxious clothes They will find you.
Yes, dress your brand. Wear the pink. Wear the polka dots. Wear a posh shirt. Wear a big pink skirt. Like do it. Dress your brand, because then as you're walking around, or even if you're away from your booth later, they're still going to know who you are. That's one of the benefits of being with Posh, is that we have such a clear visual brand that if you're dressing your brand, they're going to know.
And we have our team shirts too now, so like that would definitely help because you have the Posh logo on the sleeve, and then you have the team, so it's kind of like marketing the team itself to recruit more than just the product. So that'll be good too.
I'm so excited for our shirts. Thank you
know.
for doing all of those, Margot. Oh, you have it. Let me see. Ah, I love it. I can't wait for us to get all of those.
I know. They're so comfortable. They're not like super soft, but they're not like stiffy. They're like in between. So like if you just throw it in the dryer real quick, or if you steam it out while you take a shower, they're comfortable. So
Cool.
I'm excited to distribute them. I just need to wait for my ink.
All right. Well, thank you, Margot, for leading this training on vendor events this week. And hopefully we're going to see a list below the video of everybody checking out their vendor events in their communities, and hopefully even booking a vendor event for the next month or two.
Get out there. It's the holidays, so talk of Christmas.
That's true. This is the great time for vendor events because you're going into holiday season, and this is when people are going to start buying because they're buying gifts for their friends and family for the holidays, and they're expecting to spend a little money. So if you can get into vendor events in the fall season, those are the ones you want to be able to get into.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to stop this broadcast, and I hope you guys have a really awesome rest of the day.
Bye.
Goodbye.